to another edition of Salukimania. I'm SIU writer Todd Hefferman, and with me is sports editor Les Winkeler. We're here to talk about Saluki football. They're hosting Northern Iowa this weekend for homecoming. Kickoff is at 2 o'clock at Saluki Stadium, and the game will be on the Saluki Radio Network, and you can follow online on southern.com. Northern Iowa is off to an uncharacteristic 1-4 start, but considering they lost to mighty Hawkeyes, Wisconsin, and maybe two of the best teams in the entire country at the FCS level, Youngstown State and North Dakota State, and scored 20-some points against both teams, they're pretty formidable opponents still this weekend.
Well, we're going to find out real quick if that SIU defense is for real after that shutout with Illinois State. And I had a momentary lapse of memory the other day when someone said that UNI was only 1-4, and I thought, well, things are looking okay. And then I remember, then it was brought up that they'd lost to Iowa and Iowa and Wisconsin. So this is going to be a very good football game. Hopefully.
Yeah, what they've done, what SIU's really done, is they've tackled well, so they're not giving up a lot of yards after the catch, a lot of yards, past the line of scrimmage. They have not given up a lot of big plays in the last 2 weeks. That's been a big plus for them. That's something they did not do last year. And Northern Iowa doesn't have a lot of big plays yet. They have a couple with David Johnson, who's now their featured running back. He was a freshman last year, so they've got to bottle him up. But I really like their chances this weekend.
You really have to like what the Salukis have done bottling up the run. I mean, it's just so far it's just really been difficult to get a lot of big yards in the Salukis on the ground. And they've really been doing a much better job of pressuring the quarterback the last couple of weeks. The front seven has really done a good job. I just really like the quickness of Boatwright up front, and of course Swanson is having another good year, and the linebackers do a great job of filling. So.
Yeah, that's the thing, that they only had 3 sacks, but Illinois State had allowed 3 sacks the entire season prior to that game, and they had 10 quarterback hurries. They hit him almost every time he was going to throw it. Now the interceptions, they had 4 interceptions. None of them were really tremendous plays by the defense as far as you watching the game and like, oh wow, what a diving catch. Brown threw it right to him.
Yeah, they were in position. But.
Yeah, and that's something to do with their scheme, but it's also their players are smart enough, to play an aggressive style now that they're getting the balls, but they're on a roll, no doubt about it right now.
Well, and last year, so many times the backs were in position to make the plays and they just didn't make the plays.
Right.
And, that has been a remarkable turnaround in that respect this year. So, hopefully they can keep it going for another couple of weeks.
Now, my concerns are they weren't at the game in normal, but offensively, you saw them against Indiana State. They sputtered pretty badly. Corey Faulkner has looked a little bit not as sharp the last 2 weeks. They still do have some big playmakers with Stephen McKinney and David Lewis and Michael Pruitt. And I think this is a team where, as you play Illinois State, they have a tremendous defensive front. Northern Iowa is a good defensive front, but not as good as Indiana State's or Illinois State's, in my opinion. So they may be able to stand back and actually give him some protection with only 4 or 5 guys this time.
And I think SIU did a little bit better job of running the football against Illinois State too. The week before, they just really were. It almost seemed like they were reluctant to run. But Strother picked up some good yards, and then McCall was used a little bit more sparingly. But I think this is still a team that's capable of moving the football well on the ground. I think they just have to commit to it and decide, to have some confidence in it and do it.
And now they've thrown Muku into the mix a little bit too, as a guy that can catch out of the backfield like McCall and Strother, and they can really use those 3 almost interchangeably because all 3 of them. McCall's probably the only power runner of the 3, although they did run Muku on some power runs last weekend. I like the diversity there.
Yeah, but there's still at some point in time you have to stretch the defense, and they haven't shown that ability yet. And I think the personnel is there. It's just a matter of execution right now.
Yeah, and SIU made the field goal last week. Didn't have a point after it blocked, so that you got to feel some momentum for the special teams too. They blocked a field goal, or blocked a punt, I should say, returned that for a touchdown. So homecoming crowd will probably give them a pretty good lift, and we'll see if they can get to 4-3. That would be the first time they're over 500 this year, I believe.
Yeah,
starting off.
I think they. I mean, I like their personnel isn't that bad. I mean, they just haven't executed well in several areas this year. Now, it hasn't been one area specifically, but I think they still have a possibility to be a pretty good football team. And if in fact that's going to be the case, this is the game they've got to win.
Do you think they can keep winning those 17-14, 17-10? I mean, their defense may be good enough to do that. I just don't think they can keep doing that every week for the rest of the year.
Defense is something that can show up every. I mean, offense. There are a lot more variables. It seems like on offense, the defense is something that you can bring every day. That's a good place to start. I mean, everybody says that championships start with defense. So, and right now that's the aspect of the team that's on a roll. So if you got a horse, you might as well ride it.
Well, we'll see kickoffs at 2:00. Hope to see you at the gate. Thanks for joining us.